You're listening to the Bluegrass Jamboree, playing the best in bluegrass, bluegrass gospel, and traditional country. TheBluegrassJamboree.com.
Hello, and welcome to another segment of Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. I'm Brett Smeltzer, host of Bluegrass Retrospect, which is normally heard every Friday evening. But today, I'm honored to be hosting Hear It Here as I welcome on the phone my featured artist and special guest, the Johnson's Bluegrass Band from Foster City, Michigan. And 3 members from the group are joining me, and they are Hannah, Lydia, and their brother Samuel. And they are here to talk with me, along with airing a few tracks from their forthcoming CD, Cloudy in Kentucky. Thank you so much for your time to join me today, and welcome to Hear It Here on the BluegrassJamboree.com.
Thank you very much for having us.
Could you tell the listeners a little more exact location of Foster City, Michigan?
We're located in the south-central portion of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, roughly 85 miles south of the southern shore of Lake Superior. An interesting fact is that we're also about 15 miles northeast as the crow flies from the world's tallest man-made ski jump, located in Iron Mountain, Michigan.
And what is the height of the world's tallest ski jump?
459 feet.
And has anyone in your family made any attempts to go down that ski jump?
No, sir. Not while Mom is alive.
Well, have you actually seen anybody go down that slope? Have you actually been there?
We have our more extended family, but I know Mom, Dad, and us, none of us really ski. And so we've driven by there countless times. I'm sure Mom has even been there, but we have not attempted to go down the slope on skis, no.
Okay. Does anybody try to go down it with a skateboard or something during the summer month? Okay. Okay. All right, just ask.
My
Keep that
mom
too.
has raised us all very carefully not to do that type of stuff. So.
Gotcha. Well, before we go into full discussion about the upcoming CD, would you mind briefly sharing a little bit about yourselves with our listeners?
I'm Samuel. I'm the oldest of our 13 Johnson siblings. I play banjo, bass, and fingerpick guitar in this bluegrass band of ours.
I'm Hannah Johnson. I'm the lead singer, mandolinist, guitarist, and songwriter for most of the vocal and gospel tunes that we play.
I'm Lydia, and I'm the youngest. I play fiddle and sing lead and tenor vocals for the band and also write most of the instrumentals that we perform.
And if I can get this answered from each of you, who were your musical influences that got you started into wanting to play bluegrass music?
Rob McCurry, definitely, on the banjo. Another big influence on me was Alan O'Brien on the banjo and in vocals. I try to sing as much like him as I can. He's definitely a tough act to follow, but I do my best. Those two were probably about the biggest influences on me in my playing.
This is Hannah speaking. I would say the Del McCurry Band, the Nashville Bluegrass Band, the Gibson Brothers, Tim O'Brien, Bill Monroe, of course, since we like to be on the traditional side of things. Songwriting, I hope I was influenced by folks like the Gibson Brothers, more of the modern bluegrass writing. I think that about sums it up for me.
This is Lydia. I was influenced by fiddlers like Stuart Duncan and Jason Carter and Chubby Wise. Those are probably my 3 biggest influences, but I also like to listen to a lot of the old fiddle music, like the old time, I guess. There was a lot of great music that was pre-bluegrass that I think a lot of the bluegrass fiddlers were influenced by, and I think that's where they got a lot of their style, so I try to, listen to that and get in the feel of that more, and that way I can stay a little more traditional. Now,
primarily your videos that are shown on either Facebook or YouTube, the videos either show Hannah and Lydia together or all 3 of you, Hannah, Lydia, and Samuel, performing. But how many are officially in the band when you perform live, and what other members from your band is featured on this CD?
Members featured on the CD will be Simon, who is 18. He is our lead guitar player, and he is pretty close to a phenomenon. He's amazing. And he learned by listening to Ricky Skaggs and Brian Sutton albums on full speed. So folks are going to be pretty impressed with him. On stage, we try to have 5, the typical bluegrass 5-man band. Our mom and dad also play and sing with us at our live events. And all the children are also musical, which is such a blessing. They can sing in harmony.
And on the CD are going to be featured myself, Hannah, Lydia, Simon,
possibly
Dad.
Now, with the forthcoming CD, will it consist mainly of original songs?
It's entirely original songs, yes.
Okay. Now, Hannah, from some of the songs that we have seen on YouTube and Facebook, you're quite the songwriter and musician when it comes to writing originals, but am I correct in reading that recently here on Facebook that you have now written 160 original songs?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Now, what inspires you when it comes to writing lyrics to a song? Are there certain events that have taken place, or have you heard something spoken by someone and immediately you start jotting it down, or you're thinking, oh, that sounds like a great line for a song?
Well, all of those things, actually.
Okay.
Generally, I have something happen to me which I call, it's similar to a mental download, and I'll get the entire song in my head at once playing like an internal preset portable band. In my head, will start playing the song complete with solos and everything, and then I have to sit and write it down at some point. And usually the nice, convenient thing is for me that it doesn't, a lot of folks say they've got to get it down right now or they lose it, and that doesn't happen generally for me. It can be all day. It'll keep playing as long as I let it, and I can write it down whenever I choose, which is a blessing. Thank God.
All right. Any other members of the family or the band?
Well, in instrumental writing, I think it happens to me sometimes. I don't even have an idea in my head of what I want an instrumental to sound like. It just comes out kind of, pops out of this little...
Okay.
That's the same thing that happens to me, too. You might say that between me and Lydia, our instrumental tunes basically originate in our fingers.
Now, has any of your songs, or even instrumentals for that matter, been performed by any other artist?
No, sir, not quite yet.
Okay.
We've been playing for about 5 years. Stuart Duncan had shown some interest and asked me to send him some songs that he would try and see if he could place with some artists. Nothing has come of that yet, but I know that Timmy Jones and Bobby Powell of Carolina Blue are interested in a couple of my gospel tunes, possibly, for a CD that they are going to be working on, a gospel album.
I wish you all the best and good luck with that. Now, Stuart Duncan is actually on one of your YouTube videos, correct?
Yes.
What song is that?
That's Train 45,
Okay.
yes.
And how many tracks total will be on this CD?
There will be 14 total.
Now, you're primarily the songwriter, but are there originals written by the other members of the band that will be on this CD?
Yes, we try to feature an instrumental tune by each instrument. So, for instance, we've got mandolin tune, banjo tune, fiddle tune, and guitar tune. And when I say that, some of the other instruments will get a break on those tunes or a solo, but they're primarily the instrument, the author. So Simon wrote his guitar tune, Sam his banjo tune, etc.
Let's talk about our first featured song from Cloudy in Kentucky, entitled Heaven Calling. And what inspired you to write this song? Who wrote this song?
Actually, that song was inspired by my listening to a song off of Noam Pikelny's album, Beat the Devil and Carry a Rail. And on that album, Tim O'Brien sang a song called Bob McKinney. And that song it just had the greatest groove, the greatest rhythm, mood, and we at that point were doing mainly church shows, and we like to sing songs that are pretty wholesome and uplifting, and a lot of our fans are looking for good music out there. And in church, it just didn't feel right to be singing, wasn't he bad? Yes, wasn't he bad?
Okay.
So I have to write a song with that rhythm, though, that great groove and the style. So I picked up the guitar, and I experimented with the tune, and then pretty soon, a couple days later, the title, Heaven Calling, hit me. And it all happened very fast.
Let's go on ahead and play Heaven Calling, and it's from the forthcoming CD of Cloudy in Kentucky from the Johnson's Bluegrass Band of Foster City, Michigan, and it's heard right here on the BluegrassJamboree.com.
And everything was falling apart. I thought this cloud was gonna break my heart. Well, I thought my life was over and gone, but the Father had a plan. 'Cause then Jesus took me by the hand, said he would bring me to the promised land. So come along with me, my brothers. I hear heaven calling and I'm gonna get up and go. We're gonna meet the loving Savior down by the banks of the river, and he's gonna wash our sins much whiter than snow. Well, this old world makes me troubled and weary. You know, it makes me cry. Sometimes makes me want to just lay down and die. But such joy is waiting up there in the sky. So come along with me, my brothers. I hear heaven calling and I'm gonna get up and go. Loving Savior down by the banks of the river, and he's gonna wash our sins much whiter than snow. Calling and I'm gonna get up and go. We're gonna meet the loving Savior down by the banks of the river, and he's gonna wash our sins much whiter than snow. He's gonna wash our sins much whiter than snow.
You're listening to Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. I'm Brett Smeltzer, talking with my special guest and featured artist, the Johnson's Bluegrass Band of Foster City, Michigan. What areas in the Upper Peninsula can the folks find the Johnson's Bluegrass Band performing?
Generally in the south and west central portions of the Upper Peninsula. We have done some a little further east. We have not done much in the east end of the UP. We've also gone down into northern Wisconsin a little bit.
Being that you're way up the map, have you ever crossed over into Canada to play?
No, we haven't, largely because the closest route into Canada is about 200 miles from us. We're close geographically, but not by route, because Lake Superior kind of gets in the way.
Yeah, well, we could go there in winter, but it would be a long walk across the ice.
Wow. If I may ask, how is the weather this time of year, and how is it for you folks in the winter?
Well, up here in the summertime, it gets pretty hot. In fact, my wife's family is down by Roanoke, Virginia, and so far this summer we've had a far hotter average summer than they have. Whereas in the wintertime, we get quite a bit colder. Temperatures down in the 20s below zero are pretty normal. Temperatures down in the 40s below zero are not at all uncommon.
Winter is long.
A lot of snow?
Well, we don't get a whole lot of snow out here where we are in the south central portion. Up north in the northern UP, they'll get quite a bit of snow. Houghton is a city up in the Keweenaw Peninsula. They get an average of about 30 feet of snow per year.
Wow.
We don't get nearly that much down here, but we still get a lot. And it's just cold, dark, and long.
Okay, gotcha.
As Mark Twain put it, 9 months of winter and 3 months of bad sledding.
What other talents, other than Hannah, who plays mandolin and guitar, what other talents does the family have? I mean, does Lydia or yourself, Samuel, do you play anything other than what we've seen on your videos?
I play fingerpick guitar, generally in the style of Earl Scruggs and Rob McCurry. I also play classical style guitar and bass.
Lydia?
I'm working on clawhammer banjo right now.
Oh, sweet.
But other than that, not much. I just concentrate on the fiddle. I guess I've had some catch-up work to do. I started late.
Are any of you playing any other instruments than your primary instruments on this CD?
Yes, Hannah plays guitar, rhythm guitar on a few of them, and I also play bass on a few.
Let's talk about our next featured track from this album, an instrumental that was written by Lydia and performed by Lydia. This is entitled Mountain Sound. What inspired you to write this song, as well as including it on this CD?
Well, what inspired me to write it was actually reading Ralph Stanley's book, Man of Constant Sorrow. And that book really profoundly affected me because out of any material that I've ever read, it showed me where old-time music really came from and what it was about and how these people lived who wrote this music and why they wrote it. So I read his descriptions of what the mountains look like, and I said to myself that I was going to write me a tune that sounded like I thought it might look, you know. And when I showed Hannah, she said that, you know, there's this funny pizzicato pluck in there, and it was just kind of different than anything I'd ever tried. And she said, you know, that has that mountain sound in it that's really, you know, it paints a picture. And so I decided to call it Mountain Sound, but that's just kind of how I came up with it.
This is Hannah.
Yes, ma'am.
Lydia wrote this song, and I loved it from the first time I heard it. But when Stuart Duncan met us at the violin shop in Nashville, he sold my sister her fiddle. And he was such a great guy. He was so kind to us for never having heard of us or seen us before in his life. And when we were playing in the shop, testing out the fiddles, they were playing the song Mountain Sound on the banjo and the fiddle, and Stuart picked up another fiddle that was sitting there and started playing along. I guess he just couldn't resist that one. And the most special part of it to us was his improvised solo on the song. He just took a solo. And for never having heard that song before, that Lydia had dreamed up and we all started playing, it was such a moving experience to hear his interpretation. Since then, we've really loved that song a lot, and I also feel that the banjo solo on this song is probably one of the finest banjo solos on earth. There's so much banjo potential in this particular song. So we had to put it on the album.
Now, by any chance, would that Stuart Duncan fiddle break be heard on this CD, on this song?
No, we wish.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
we wish.
Just asking. Okay.
Something for the future.
All righty. All right, once again, we are talking with the Johnsons Bluegrass Band, and we're going to play an instrumental written and performed by Lydia Johnson, and this is entitled Mountain Sound, and it's heard right here on the BluegrassJamboree.com. You're listening to Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. I'm Brett Smeltzer, talking with my special guest and featured artist, Hannah, Lydia, and Samuel of the Johnsons Bluegrass Band from Foster City, Michigan. When will the CD be officially released?
November is the target for that, but since we do everything ourselves, the production, recording, all that, we're not exactly certain, but we're shooting at this point for November 1st as the official release date.
And prior to the official date of the CD release, do you plan on releasing a single?
Yes,
we actually do plan to release a single. Hopefully the single will be out the end of September, October. The CD itself should be released in November. And the title that we plan to release as the single is actually the title track for the album, Cloudy in Kentucky.
And when this CD is available, how can the listeners acquire this CD?
Well, we'll make good and sure that on our website and our Facebook page, there are links to where the folks can purchase it. I will try and get it on iTunes, Amazon, all the typical outlets. So that's the plan. Also, anyone could directly contact me on Facebook.
What about receiving hard copies?
I would say those should be available on Amazon, hopefully.
Okay.
And otherwise, folks can directly contact the band page or me or the website, and we will send them a copy.
And just so the folks out there know, what is the address for your band's website?
thejohnsonsbluegrassband.com.
According to some postings, you have some previous CDs. Are they also available through your website and your affiliates?
Yes, if they want to purchase one, they have to directly contact me, though. We didn't have a distribution deal or anything for those. We primarily pressed a small amount for sale at our live shows and concerts and for our friends and family. But if someone wants to directly contact me, I have a PayPal link that they can use, and I will send them one.
Okay, sounds great. You're listening to Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. I'm Brett Smeltzer, talking with my special guest and featured artist, Hannah, Lydia, and Samuel of the Johnsons Bluegrass Band from Foster City, Michigan. And we are talking about their forthcoming CD entitled Cloudy in Kentucky. And we are actually going to talk about that title track. What inspired you, Hannah, to write this tune?
Well, I have been a storyteller since I was young and kept my many brothers and sisters entertained this way. But I would, like I say, I would probably be a writer if I wasn't so lazy.
Okay.
I had a song. I had a story at one point about musicians. It was a family band, and the fellow and a girl had become romantically attached to each other. And she and her mother moved to New York. That's where the song has the mention of New York. And all of a sudden, I just had another one of those download experiences, and I'm watching this story play in my head, and so this main character is singing this song, and I realized, wow, this fits the story, and so I just wrote it down.
So basically, this is a fiction derived from a fiction.
Now, my favorite line from this song, now I sit here watching the minute hand spin circles, and I'm wishing that we could both go back in time. That's great stuff. Love that line.
That line was actually my sister Lydia's favorite, too. And my mom and dad are actually pretty musical. Even though they didn't play bluegrass or really listen to bluegrass prior to 2012 when we started, they listen so much and they support us all, like our grandma and grandpa, Mike and Paula. And my mom heard this song and she said, this song, Cloudy in Kentucky, is probably my favorite song that you guys ever did. And she really liked it and said, this is going to be popular. And since then, everyone who's heard it pretty much has loved it and commented on it more than they usually do on our other songs.
Before we play the title track, I would like to thank my featured artist and special guest, Hannah, Lydia, and Samuel of the Johnsons Bluegrass Band from Foster City, Michigan, for being part of this segment of Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. And I wish you all the best and much success with the CD. And I wish you all safe travels and all of your ventures. And I look forward to having you folks here back again when you're ready to release another CD. You folks take care, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yes, God bless you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
I'm sitting and staring out my window. Seems it's all I have the heart to do. Wondering why it makes me feel so lonesome when I think about all the times I spend with you. You see, the sun hasn't shone ever since you've been gone. The skies are ever so gray and I'm so blue. Well, it's cloudy in Kentucky this morning, and I'm wondering if it's cloudy in New York too. sparkles that were in your eyes whenever they'd meet mine. Now I sit here watching the minute hand spin circles, and I'm wishing that we could both go back in time. You see, the sun hasn't shone ever since you've been gone. The skies are ever so gray and I'm so blue. Well, it's cloudy in Kentucky this morning, and I'm wondering if it's cloudy in New York too. 'Cause you just might be feeling happy without me. Oh, I know you might not feel the way I do, but it's cloudy in Kentucky this morning, and I'm just wondering if it's cloudy in New York too.
Well, folks, that wraps up another segment of Hear It Here, heard only on the BluegrassJamboree.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Brett Smeltzer, and until next time, take care, be safe, and God bless. So long, everyone.